Welcome back to Talking Toku, Boston's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all their kaiju friends. I am your host, David Scrivani.
I am your second host, Brian Kershaw.
And Brian, do you have any news for us this week? Just get that right out of the way.
I finally read Ultra Mega.
That's not news.
Oh well.
You did the same thing last time.
I did. News? Not that I'm remembering.
Well, you know what?
I should probably write this stuff down.
You should, and that's what I do. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this week because for whatever reason, it was kind of a light on news these past 2 weeks. I only have 2 articles here.
I mean, if we're counting the release of video games, Resident Evil 8 may be considered a kaiju game.
Large creatures in Resident Evil Village.
There's a large woman in Resident Evil Village.
Yeah,
it's great, and people love it.
Listen, if people can have the argument that Clifford the Big Red Dog is a kaiju, we can argue that Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village is a kaiju.
And her other form is definitely a kaiju.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yes.
the end boss is definitely a kaiju. I mean, like not the thing you fight. But yeah.
But
no spoilers here.
No spoilers. But both Brian and I really enjoyed Resident Evil 8.
So if you like body horror, survival horror, and large things, and getting chased around in a castle,
if you like Resident Evil, just you're probably gonna get it anyways. So
yeah, especially if you like 4. Mm-hmm. Specifically, if you like 4, you will like this game.
Yeah. But all right, let's get into the actual kaiju tokusatsu news. I meant to mention this like a month ago when the campaign first started, but I totally forgot because I'm a bad podcast host. Mystery Science Theater 3000 is coming back yet again. If you remember, they had the whole campaign a couple years ago that was largely successful to bring it back.
Didn't they like go away, come back, and now they're coming back again?
Well, so they did the Kickstarter campaign that blew up online, and then they did 2 seasons for Netflix.
Yeah, I heard after that they got canceled.
They got canceled, and so Joel Hodgson, who was the creator and original host for Mystery Science Theater, was basically like, well, we want to keep doing these, and we know you want us to keep doing these, so we're just going to essentially make our own streaming service and put them on there. So naturally, they
what's it called?
What is it called? It's called like the Gizmo Drone.
Oh, I thought they were gonna like do something the something theater.
Well, the Gizmo Drone is supposed to be a theater.
Oh,
that's the thing.
But work theater into the name, you know.
But yeah, that launched on Kickstarter about a month ago. Again, I meant to shout that campaign out so everyone, all our listeners, could go donate. But it doesn't matter because it got funded anyways.
How much money did it make?
It raised a total of $6,519,019.
Damn, that's like on the lower tier of Netflix budgets.
I know, right? But so there.
Which is not an insult, by the way.
But that means we're going to be getting 13 new episodes, as well as a Halloween special, 12 short film episodes, and 24 live events.
Okay.
And they've been doing a lot of live stuff over the past couple of years, and I've wanted to go. I just haven't gotten around to it. I haven't found the time to do so. But from what I can tell, fans love it. The hosts love doing it, and I'm glad that they're still doing live events. And once COVID gets out of here completely, maybe I'll go. Maybe we'll go. Maybe we'll get Joel Hodgson on Talking Toku.
If you're in Massachusetts, that's going to be relatively soon.
I know. I mean,
Governor Baker's lifting the state of emergency.
I bought tickets a couple weeks ago to my first post-COVID concert.
Oh, who are you seeing?
I'm seeing, sort of linked to this podcast, I'm seeing Gojira.
Didn't even invite me.
I'm going with my girlfriend. It's a date.
Didn't even invite me.
You can go and I can be like, oh, hi, Brian. Didn't expect to see you here.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah.
When is it?
It's in late October.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Spoilers to all of our viewers. I'm moving across the country.
I'm pretty sure you mentioned that last time.
I did, but
So
we're doing
really
it again.
spoilers.
In case you missed last episode, So I'll be on the coast where all the kaiju attacks happen in fiction.
Well, hey, maybe there'll be another Gojira show out there that you can go to.
Most definitely.
You can take your girlfriend to it.
She won't want to go.
No, she doesn't want to see Gojira knocked loose and alien weaponry.
Absolutely not.
Oh. All right.
She wanted a shout out. So hi, Alicia.
There you go.
She won't listen to this.
I hope it was worth it.
It was.
So back to Mystery Science Theater. The first 3 episodes have been announced, and there's actually a link to this podcast, sort of.
Okay. Is it Rampage?
It's not Rampage. So they've announced, like I said, they announced the first 3 episodes, so you can look forward to seeing Jonah, Tom Servo, and Crow riff Robot Wars, Demon Squad, 2 movies I have not heard of. And more importantly, they're getting back to their roots from when the show first launched as a public access series. They're going to be riffing Gamera versus Jiger.
Okay.
So the thing about that is, when I got Arrow's Gamera box set last year, and I was going through all the Showa Gamera films, because I'd only ever seen the first 3 before the set came out. When I got to Gamera versus Virus, and I think I messaged you about this, Gamera versus Virus, I think, is the movie that gave Western audiences a bad taste in their mouths when it come to Japanese giant monster movies, because that movie right there is the one that is so unbelievably goofy in both the worst and best possible ways. And when I looked it up, it shocked me to find out that was one of the few Gamera movies that Mystery Science Theater never actually riffed. It was that and Gamera versus Jiger. I'm not complaining that they're doing Jiger. I actually think Gamera vs. Jiger is one of the better later show films, but I would have killed to have them do Gamera vs. Virus.
Well, if you get them on the podcast, just ask them to do it.
Yeah, honestly, I could.
Just be like, hey, can you start up another campaign and get funded for more?
just for this one additional episode?
I'll give you $5.
Or, I mean, I could always get in touch with the guys in Rift Tracks, because they're the original Crow and Tom Servo.
Oh, yeah, that too.
So, but yeah, are you excited about Mystery Science Theater coming back?
I'm excited for any media that makes people happy.
Okay.
Mostly.
I'll take it.
It depends on what it is, but mostly everything.
Well, now I'm curious as to what you mean by that.
I don't know, like exploitation media? I guess that makes some people happy, but it shouldn't.
I mean, have you not seen Black Dynamite?
Well, I'm talking like different exploitation media.
All right.
Not that.
Not blaxploitation?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll take it.
Okay. Good talk. This is definitely getting cut out.
We'll see about that.
Okay.
Moving on, our second and final piece of news for this week. Netflix just recently announced that they are doing a new CGI animated Ultraman film.
Oh, you know what? I did actually see that.
Did you see that it is completely separate from their Ultraman anime that they're also doing?
I did, which is something that I have watched.
Yeah, and a second season was announced a while ago, and we've not seen a damn thing of it ever since.
Nope. And I actually kind of liked that show, as weird as it was.
Yeah, it's the visuals take some getting used to, but I think the story is really neat.
Yeah, it's got that animation style that I don't really like.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3D anime, which very, very rarely ever looks good.
Mm-hmm. It's budget.
Yeah, but whether we'll actually get a season 2 of that, who knows? But honestly, this movie that they're doing sounds way more interesting than the anime.
I saw the artwork for it, and it looked awesome.
The artwork is kind of like, it's kind of evoking some Spider-Verse visuals for me,
which is always good.
Always good. So it's going to be directed by Shannon Tyndall, who has worked on Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings, both phenomenal animated films. Granted, they're stop motion, not CGI animation, but they're still very
close enough.
They're very, very good.
It's
in terms
animation
of
adjacent.
Yeah, I mean, it's animation. Period. It's a very different style of animation than what we're going to be seeing in Ultraman.
It's physical animation, not like art. I guess
Not digital.
not digital.
There you go.
It doesn't look bad.
Okay. Okay. I'll take it.
It doesn't look like the Godzilla anime from Netflix that I absolutely despise, except for the last movie.
But the other interesting thing about this, the studio that's going to be doing the animation for the movie is Industrial Light and Magic.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
That's very
I
interesting.
did not know about that.
Yeah. So
I feel like they would have put that in the headline that I read.
it says the animation is going to be stylized, but not strictly anime.
Huh.
And I guess the picture they posted is kind of going to be indicative of what the final movie is going to look like. And again, it looks Spider-Verse like, so I'm on board.
A Spider-Verse inspired.
Enter the Ultraverse.
Okay. Man, what if they call it that?
Oh my god.
I don't know
I mean, the continuity between Ultraman series is pretty messed up as it is. I can't tell if things take place in the same universe or not.
This could be their chance to clear it all up.
It could be.
Could be.
I don't know. We're gonna find out whenever the movie comes out.
Unravel the web.
So I have in my notes here in parentheses, honestly, just read the whole damn synopsis at this point. So I'm gonna do that. The film will follow Ken Sato, a superstar baseball player who returns to Japan to become the latest hero to carry the mantle of Ultraman. His plans go awry, however, when he's compelled to raise a newborn kaiju monster, the offspring of his greatest enemy, as his own child. Sato will also have to contend with his relationship with his estranged father and the schemes of the Kaiju Defense Force. So, is it just the Mandalorian, but with Ultraman?
Sounds like it.
I mean, that's fine by me.
It sounds like it's going to be a real knockout. He's a baseball player.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Can we get Pedro Pascal to be in the movie?
Yeah. What if they do?
Oh my God. I'm of the opinion that Pedro Pascal should be in everything.
Have they announced any casting
I don't
yet?
think so. I think they just have the director. I don't think they have any cast anything yet.
Get him in there. You still got time.
Yeah, producers. That's about it.
So we're going to start a hashtag on Twitter, right?
We got to think of something clever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because Pedro isn't. He's not. I mean, he's not Japanese, so you might get people who are mad at that.
Yeah, probably. But like, there's probably gonna be like some American characters in there,
Probably, yeah. Okay. I don't know.
or
Well, because like
Latin American,
because like the Ultraman,
Hispanic.
the Ultraman animated show, like had like a very much supposed to be American dude in it who is like super jacked.
Jack, yeah.
Yeah, that was the funniest part of that show. I don't know. We'll think about it.
It's got to be alliterative.
If one of our viewers has any ideas,
Please
just tag us on Twitter.
give us a hashtag to get Pedro Pascal in the Netflix Ultraman.
We'll give you a shout out.
We'll give you a shout out, and we'll give you a I don't know.
We'll say thanks on Twitter to you.
We'll give you a nickel.
Yeah, something.
That's my usual go-to, is just giving people nickels
Okay.
as a reward.
I found this on the sidewalk. Here you go.
Yeah. This was in the cup holder of my car. Enjoy.
I use this for tolls.
Treasure it with your life.
This could have gone to a toll, but instead it's going to you.
It's going to you, and
going to
that's
you.
how much I care about you. So I hope you can treasure that memory. Okay, let's stop this. Brian, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Colossal.
And I think we're in agreement. I hope we're in agreement that Colossal is like one of the greatest giant monster movies of all time.
I agree.
All right, cool. There we go, everyone. Pack it in. Episode's done.
End of the
That's
podcast.
It.
It's
End of the
done.
podcast. That's all you need to know.
Can finally go home.
And never have to do this again.
Nope.
This is the series finale, everyone. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Oh well. No more news. Where are you gonna go now?
Yeah. Anywhere on Twitter, honest. Anywhere on Toku Twitter.
Yeah. For real though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I watched it just last night before coming. I think I enjoy it more and more every time I watch it, which is weird because I feel like with most movies, it's the other way around. Like I enjoy it less each time I watch it, but not the case with Colossal.
Because Colossal's got a lot of substance.
It's got a hell of a lot of substance.
It's got a lot of personal, like deeply personal issues. And a lot of kaiju movies, I have said this in the, like, I think we kind of, when we were giving hints as to what we were going to be covering, we said that it was more personal and like small scale. This movie is directly tied around one person and her problems. And it's barely, I mean, like it is a kaiju movie, but it's more of like a character study.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the kaiju stuff, I don't want to say it takes a back seat to it because that's not the case at all.
It's a supplement to the struggles with the character.
Yes, exactly. And I think that for one, that was probably like a budgetary issue. Like, again, it's an independent film, so they probably didn't have as much money to show a lot of kaiju stuff, but they also made it work within the bounds of the story that it sets out to tell. And I think that works out phenomenally because we get more time to spend with our main characters, and that makes us relate to them. Well, mostly just to the main character, Gloria, because she's the one we have to relate to.
Yep. She is the main character.
She is the main character. That's usually how characters in films work. You're supposed to relate to that central character. I would hope no one's really going in there to relate to Oscar, Jason Sudeikis' character.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Oh my God.
We should get to the plot.
Let's get to the plot because I really want to talk about Jason Sudeikis' character.
It should go without saying that this has spoilers. If you haven't seen this, please go watch it.
Absolutely. Like,
stop listening right now. Go watch it. It is one of the best kaiju movies ever released.
We've joked before about like how you should stop listening and go watch this, but like, in all seriousness, please go watch Colossal before you listen to this podcast because again, we cannot stress enough how phenomenal of a film Colossal is, and it disappoints me that we don't get movies like this within the genre.
Well, it's because they're not inaccessible, but they're not what people expect.
Exactly. But the thing is, like, within the fandom, people still love Colossal.
Yeah, but we're talking mass market appeal. They see this and they're like, kaiju, rom-com, character study?
Very good point. Oh my God. Before we get into the plot, I want to talk about this thing real quick. I want to talk about some of the production issues this had.
Okay.
This movie almost never existed.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
So way back when it was in pre-production, there was a poster. It was kind of like a proof of concept poster. And this was kind of on the filmmaker's part that this happened, but the poster, it was rather generic. It showed a woman who eventually would become Gloria, the character Gloria, and it was her overlooking a cityscape with a giant robot and a giant monster fighting. Seems rather harmless. The problem is the fact that for the giant robot and the giant monster, they had Mazinger Z and what was very clearly the 2014 Godzilla.
Oh.
And I think we've talked briefly about this before, but Toho Company Limited is very, very protective of their character.
Goes without saying, yep.
If anyone tries to make any money off of Godzilla without their say-so, they will sue you out the ass.
Yep.
So because the initial teaser poster for Colossal used something that looked a little too much like Godzilla, this movie almost just did not exist. The production was almost shut down. And that was why, like, when it finally came out and it was as good as it was, people were like, excuse me?
Okay.
Myself included. But I just wanted to touch upon that because when I was planning the podcast to talk about this, I kept remembering, like, don't forget to talk about this. Don't forget to talk about this. Don't forget to talk about this. It's really, really interesting.
You got to write stuff down like I have to.
Yeah, like you have to, and I still haven't.
But still haven't, yeah.
But all right, I wanted to get that out of the way. We're good. We can talk about the plot now.
Okay.
Talk about the plot, Brian. What's the movie about?
So the movie, I actually did not watch it in preparation for this because I didn't watch it too long ago. I watched it with my wonderful girlfriend. And this is one of the few kaiju movies.
Dang, you're getting 2 shout-outs.
This is one of the kaiju movies that she actually enjoyed. She's not the hugest fan of these movies. They just don't click with her. But she liked this one because it was more character focused. This movie is about a troubled woman, Gloria. She is an alcoholic. She has some deep-rooted personal issues. A very strange tick, which I didn't actually realize was related to the main plot of this movie until just rewatching it.
They make that so clear, though.
They do, but I did miss it on my first time through, and I feel like an idiot.
That's the thing that like makes her click that something's going on.
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
For some reason, it didn't it didn't actually connect with me.
Okay.
I think I may have been distracted while that was kind of explained. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
We'll get to that later.
All right.
Anyways, she gets kicked out by her kind of snobby British boyfriend.
Played by the amazing Dan Stevens.
Yeah, and she's in like an upscale apartment in like New York.
New York, I think.
New York. One of the cities. And then she goes back to her hometown and starts, I don't know if she owns the house or just
It's her parents' house, I think.
Okay. She's basically squatting in this in her childhood home.
Yep.
And then she meets
Sleeping on the hardwood floor.
Yeah. There's no furniture.
Yep.
And then she meets her childhood friend Oscar. Kind of out of nowhere. And then they start.
They reconnect.
Yeah.
He owns a bar, and her being an alcoholic, obviously that doesn't totally go well.
Yep.
But she is offered a job, and at the same time, a giant monster starts appearing in Seoul.
Yep.
And
at a specific time in a specific location.
And it's not entirely clear at first as to what's going on, which, that's kind of what you want. You don't want things to be apparent right from the get-go. But as more sightings of the monster appear, and as we follow Gloria home after work, we start to notice some things. Namely, this tick that she has where she kind of scratches her head. We notice that the monster does the exact same thing.
Yep.
And I remember there's a conversation that they're having at the bar between Oscar and what's the guy's name?
It's like the older dude, right?
Yeah.
The dude who plays the oh man, I don't remember his name, but he's in a lot of stuff.
He is. It's Tim Blake Nelson.
Yeah,
it's his character. And he's talking about like, I don't think it's alive. Or something's wrong with it because when it's walking through the city destroying things, it never looks down. Which is actually a pretty like smart observation, like in the grand scheme of things, I think. So it turns out that when Gloria is walking home at 8:05 a.m., she walks through this playground. And when she walks through this playground, the giant monster appears in Seoul. And it's never really explained exactly why it is, but it also isn't. She is essentially the giant monster.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It perfectly mimics all her movements and mannerisms and everything when she walks through that one specific park in her hometown. Obviously, that spins out of control very quickly because we later learn that Oscar has the same thing. When he steps into the park, a giant robot appears in Seoul. And them being belligerent, drunk assholes.
Well, we haven't gotten to the big thing with Oscar.
We have not. So Oscar, I gotta say, because Jason Sudeikis, he's a comedic actor. I don't think, other than this movie, I don't think I've ever seen him.
This movie is shocking. If you haven't seen...
You know what? Before we get into this, we should talk about how this movie was marketed.
Okay.
Because this movie was very, very clearly marketed as a comedy. Like, no other strings attached. This was like a comedy about...
And it is very funny in some parts.
It's certainly funny. But about halfway through, this movie takes a turn.
Yep.
For the very, very dark and disturbing.
Yep.
And that is totally courtesy of Jason Sudeikis, because again, he is a very comedic actor and he is playing that up for the first half of the movie. But once he realizes he has this power where he essentially controls who lives and dies in Seoul, he kind of loses his mind a little bit and becomes really, really manipulative and possessive of Gloria to the point where he
watches her in her own home and doesn't leave.
Yep. And threatens to kill thousands of people in Seoul if she quits her job at the bar.
Or if she doesn't show up to the playground.
Yeah. And
which saying out loud sounds a little goofy, but in terms of the story, it is.
Every single time I watch this movie, like when we're building up to where Oscar kind of turns, I get this like anxiety in my chest. Like I know what's coming, but like it's still so well written and well acted that I cannot help but feel like just absolutely terrified as to what's to come. Even though I know it ends quote unquote happily, like it's still terrifying to see.
And there are tells in the story that he is not exactly the best person.
Yeah.
The whole deal with Oscar is that he was jealous of Gloria growing up because she was like, she was smart, I guess. I think that's kind of what he was saying.
Yeah.
And that like, she left to go live her life somewhere else and he just stayed in their hometown and he's kind of doomed to live like a regular existence, I guess. And now that he has this power to, control some robot, he's kind of got this power trip. And it kind of sets off all these not personal issues with him, but like it kind of sets off this overall power trip that he has power over Gloria, that he's finally better at her, better than her at something, or that he can beat her,
Yeah.
And it's really like kind of upsetting. It's very upsetting to watch, but it's really well acted.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite scenes in the movie, is when he's pressuring her to drink the beer, otherwise he's gonna go take a walk later.
Yep.
And when they leave and he's like getting in his truck and she stands in front of the truck to make sure he doesn't leave, he gets out of the car and kind of like explodes like, you think the world revolves around you, but it doesn't. Now I'm cool. Like the way he acted when he exploded at her is just it's incredible just how much emotion that is both at the forefront and like behind what he's saying too. It's I almost wish he would have like gotten at least an Oscar nomination for this, because that's just how incredible he is in this film.
That scene was real good.
Yeah.
Confrontations like that are very hard to pull off organically. They happen in real life all the time, obviously, and like that's why this movie is like so incredible, because it pulls off these kind of like they're not like conversations or issues that we've all had, but there's stuff that's pretty well known that like happens, like abusive relationships, like people feeling like their friends have outgrown them and being let down by that. Like that's all very human issues, but it's put in this like kind of fantastical kind of lens with these weird fantastical elements, and I think it works really well. Like surprisingly doesn't make anything goofy, because it's still, like,
it's still played very very
he's
straight.
Threatening to literally murder people, but like it's really well done.
And the fact that like I said, because again, probably because of budgetary reasons, we don't see a whole lot of kaiju stuff. The scene where probably the second or third time that they're both at the park, he kind of pushes her down. She's on the ground. She's down for the count, and he's like, every time you're not here in the morning, this is going to happen. And you just see his feet coming down right in front of the camera, stomping in front of her. And you don't see any of the consequences of this, but there are audio cues happening. Like there are people screaming and sirens were going off. Chills.
Yeah.
Just absolutely chilling.
And I think that you saying that there, due to budgetary reasons, there's not a lot of, monster stuff. I think that this is one of the cases where budgetary issues actually makes the movie better, because I feel like if they put more monster stuff in this movie, it would have lost a lot of its
Charm.
Yeah, not charm, but like it would have lost a bit of its seriousness for me.
Okay.
I feel like if you try to balance the movie out with monster stuff, it's just going to lose some of its impact. Because it leaves the carnage up to your imagination, which often is worse than what would be filmed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. So by using audio cues and stuff like that, you can the filmmakers can kind of help you imagine something or what they're trying to go for. But it is ultimately up to you what you think would be happening, whether you want to make it a best case scenario or a worst case scenario. I think that is. I think that maybe it would be cool for movies to get better budgets from studios, but I think that little budget leads to great creativity with filmmakers.
Yeah,
we see that a lot in this genre specifically.
Yeah, I mean, Monsters by Gareth Edwards, that was $500,000, the budget for that film, and I haven't watched it in a number of years, but I think that movie's really, really good.
I've seen it recently. It still holds up.
Yeah,
very well filmed.
I don't know what the budget for Colossal is, but you know what? We have technology, Brian.
We do.
We're gonna as Mr. Sunday Movies says, we're gonna give it a googs.
A googs.
We're gonna give it a googs.
When did he say that? Was that recently?
I don't know. It's a running joke.
Oh, okay.
That's a podcast you all should listen to.
Yeah, Mr. Sunday Movies. Or at least just watch the YouTube channel.
Yeah, the Weekly Planet is his podcast.
Yeah, the YouTube channel is very funny because there are added video. There's added video, which can often be funny.
15 million. So not small, but certainly not big.
Small, but it's not what
big.
Other movies nowadays get.
Yeah, it's certainly not in this genre.
Yeah.
Where were we going with this?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was saying that with the budget that the movie had, it added to.
Right.
Added to it.
And I mean, compared to something like Godzilla versus Kong, which was probably like at least 100 million, and then that movie is all spectacle.
It's all spectacle. There's barely any personal anything.
And, again, we've talked about this at length. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just compared to something like Colossal, that is much smaller in scale than Godzilla versus Kong. It works out. I think it's way, way more effective than anything that any of the MonsterVerse films could do, I think.
Yeah, well, if you look at it, if you're looking at these movies as like an artistic medium, which, movies are art most of the time, you don't really get many takeaways from a movie like Godzilla vs. Kong. You're just like, oh, that was fun. It was a good time. That wasn't a waste of 2 hours. But with Colossal, like, you have takeaways. There's stuff like, oh, I do not want to live my life like Oscar. It teaches you stuff. It demonstrates that these struggles happen with people, whether you have dealt with them or not. And I think that's admirable. I think a lot of movies, they don't need to have messages, but I think when they do, people remember them better.
Yeah. And full disclosure, we don't entirely know what we're talking about when it comes to some of the themes in this movie. I've never really been in an abusive, manipulative relationship.
I have been.
Okay, so did this movie resonate with you a little more for that reason?
It did.
Okay.
Yep. I'm not going to go full in length of what my abusive relationship was, but I did feel like I was not in control of my actions. Like, I felt like this person was basically guilting me into doing stuff that I did not want to do, and this movie very much portrayed that in a way that I could relate to. Basically, like, if you don't do this, I will do this. And that is a horrifying dilemma you're put into. Obviously, this one had higher stakes, but
yes. I don't think you ran the risk of killing thousands of people in a country on the other side of the world.
No, but here's the thing that I actually appreciated a lot. It's that by setting the stakes as like a giant monster, attacking people, because when you're put in situations in like a abusive relationship, it really does feel like the world is ending. Like you're just like panicking. You're put into panic mode. It feels like it's a lot bigger than it is, and that's kind of portrayed by making it about monsters stepping on people. Like
it shows the scale that the movie is. It goes to show how people who are actually being affected by something like this actually feel.
Correct. Yep.
When from the outside, it probably doesn't seem all that bad.
Yeah. If you're looking at an abusive relationship from of this type, where it's like someone's being controlled by someone else by threatening, it's not. If you're looking at it, as a fly on the wall, it doesn't look as bad. But to the person who is being manipulated, it really does seem like there are huge stakes here. Like, your free will is essentially being taken from you.
Yeah.
And that is like the world falling apart. So I think that this movie, the writers definitely knew what they were talking about. And I think that by framing it this way, it really added to it, especially for people who have been through something similar.
Yeah. And I've heard stories of people who have gone through like really, really bad abusive relationships.
Yeah, mine was nowhere near as bad as the worst I've heard about, but like, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard stories of people who have seen this movie and who have gone through like really, really bad abusive relationships, and they've like gotten really emotional watching the movie because it resonates so much with them. And I want to talk about what you said about like being a fly on the wall. I know the movie's focused on Oscar, but can we talk about how much of a piece of shit Joel is?
For doing nothing?
For doing absolutely nothing?
Yeah, he is the personification of the bystander effect.
Yeah. And like, here's the thing. With real life abusive relationships, sure, maybe it's a little more black and white. No, sorry, a little more gray area. This, it very much is black and white because you're playing with the lives of thousands of people, and he's just like,
yeah,
you're
sure.
just kind of sitting there.
Whatever.
It's like, dude, you could put a stop to this at any moment.
Yeah.
You're Oscar's best friend. What are you doing enabling him by continuing to allow him to drink?
He also knows the full scale of what's going on. He was one of the people that figured out that it was her.
Yeah. I only just kind of thought about this when I was watching it last night. I'm like, dude, what is he doing?
Well, I mean,
and then at the very end of the movie, like when Gloria goes to Seoul to make the monster appear back in her hometown to deal with Oscar, Joel's like in an entirely different bar. So he just like walked away without even doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's a terrible person. But if you look at it, like both him and Oscar are just nobodies in this town. Like that's what their character is, and it's why they're acting this way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably just apathetic at this point at everything. Because he's old, he's been there for a while.
He's not even that old.
Well, I'm talking like his character seems like he's on the older side.
I'm not talking about Tim Blake Nelson's character.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
I'm talking about the other guy, the younger guy that Gloria tries to like sleeps with.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, never mind then.
Yeah.
Disregard what I just said.
But do you know what I'm talking about now?
I do know. Yeah.
Like, what is he doing?
Being a terrible person.
I guess so.
Still, my point holds that definitely apathetic because they're nobodies. That's their their character.
We don't see Tim Blake Nelson's character after Oscar pressures Gloria to drink because he accuses Tim Blake Nelson of doing coke in the bathroom, and that's the last we see of him.
Yeah, probably gets arrested.
I don't know. I mean, he yells at him. You're lucky I don't call the cops on you, you junkie.
Yeah, probably. He probably didn't get arrested. He probably just booked it.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah. But which is the shame because Tim Blake Nelson's a phenomenal actor, and it's always nice seeing him.
Go watch The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Ballad of Buster Scruggs. There you go.
Listen.
The Blad.
I'm halfway through my large coffee right now. I woke up not long ago. Okay.
All right.
This is still the morning for me.
And this is technically not the first time he's appeared in a kaiju movie either.
Wait, what else was he in?
I mean, it depends if you want to consider the Incredible Hulk a kaiju movie. They're larger than normal humans. The Hulk and the Abomination.
I guess so.
Because he's the leader. Well, he's the guy who eventually becomes the leader. But then that movie was released in 2008, and we haven't seen his character since.
Wow, that movie looks terrible for 2008.
I know.
Oh my god.
But I think they are bringing stuff back. Cause I think they confirmed that Tim Roth is going to be reprising his role as Abomination in the She-Hulk series on Disney Plus.
Okay.
So maybe we'll actually see Tim Blake Nelson popping back up.
Okay. Well, let's get back on topic here.
Yeah, Colossal.
Okay. Colossal. So, another thing I wanted to talk about that I always thought was pretty cool about it is why it's all happening. Because it's basically magic.
Yeah, essentially, it's like we don't get a real explanation.
So I wanted to talk about this specifically because I want to explain to you why I didn't put the tick together.
Okay.
So I know that they figured out that the monster was Gloria because the monster had the same tick. But what I didn't understand was the reason this is all happening is because back when you kind of get a flashback back when Gloria and Oscar were kids and walking together, and they both had dioramas of different places for school, and I guess a gust of wind blew Gloria's diorama
into the woods,
into the woods where the park will be.
Yeah, at the time the park isn't there.
Yeah, and then Oscar goes to get it, and instead of bringing it back because Oscar wants to be a controlling piece of garbage, he destroys it instead, probably to
be better than her.
Be better, have something for school.
Yeah.
And then Gloria sees this and gets really upset, obviously. And then you see a bolt of lightning come down and strike her right in the part where she has the tick. And originally, I didn't put it together that this is why she has the tick. That's what I didn't put together immediately. And so because of this sorcery, I guess, she now has the power to, in this specific spot, become said monster.
And don't forget, the reason it's that monster is because she got a toy of the monster. Same with Oscar. He had his toy of the robot.
Yep.
I don't understand how that works, but in a movie about giant monsters, obviously you're going to have some suspension of disbelief. So it's fine, I guess.
So I thought this was pretty cool. I think it's a really interesting way of explaining why it's happening because it doesn't make any sense, but it's cool.
I don't see how they would have done it in such a way that it does make sense.
Yeah, that I
think about it.
See, you can't do it in a way that makes sense. So the only thing you can do is make it as cool as possible.
Yeah,
and they did a pretty good job.
I'll take it.
I think that. And by tying it to the character's struggles, even in the past, it makes it even more impactful because this is kind of
because after we see that revelation that Gloria has, she confronts Oscar saying, "You hate yourself."
Yep.
It's not that you want to be controlling; it's that you hate yourself.
He wants to, he's always wanted to be better, and he's just not, and so he hates himself, and that's why this is all going down.
Yeah. So it's not that Oscar is through and through a terrible person. He is a terrible person, but he has his own deep-seated issues because of that.
Well, good people with a lot of problems can easily turn into terrible people.
Listen, I'm not condoning any of his actions. If you're an abusive piece of shit, fuck you.
Yeah.
Stop listening to my podcast right now. I don't
away.
approve.
We don't want you here.
We don't want you here. If I find out any of my listeners are doing this kind of thing,
you'll be banned.
I don't know how I'm going to ban you from Spotify.
We'll ban you from Spotify. We'll get in contact with Spotify.
I'll find a way. I'll find a way. I will.
Yep.
Don't mess with me when I'm slightly inconvenienced.
Yeah.
And put that on my gravestone.
Yep.
Don't mess with me when I'm slightly inconvenienced.
Amen.
Anyways.
Amen. Yeah, but I think that you really do kind of get that picture with Oscar that he is absolutely a terrible person who definitely somewhat deserves what he gets. But you do get the idea that maybe he was once not a terrible person, and just through buildup of issues, he's just turned into this mess of a human.
And we don't really get a whole lot of insight as to what those issues are. There's a very, very quick scene when Gloria goes to visit Oscar the morning after he tries to cause a lot of damage, but he doesn't. There's a quick cut to a picture of him and his mom when he was a baby, but like his mom's face is scratched out on the picture. Mm-hmm. So again, that's all we get of that. Clearly there's some issues there, but it's never really explored what those issues are specifically.
I'm okay with that though, because I think with much like anything, I think ambiguity always adds.
Yeah, oh absolutely.
I think if you try to spell out exactly what someone's problems are, they lose their ambiguity, which means that, it's about imagination. If you can imagine what these problems are, then it adds to the movie because it's you who's thinking about it. You are, in a way, you're interacting with the movie. Like you're adding to it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So it will be different. It will be different for, from person to person because people may have different ideas of what it is, but it's more of an additive experience because you can just think about it every time and you can put more puzzle pieces together through rewatches. And I think that's great.
Yeah. And I don't think I even caught that on my first couple of viewings of this movie. I think I only noticed it this time.
I think I noticed it. I noticed it because my Alicia pointed it out to me. But I'm sure I've missed a lot of other stuff in there as well.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna go back and rewatch it. And y'all better watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a copy of it specifically to do this because I probably should have owned a copy since it came out on Blu-ray, but
probably, it is on Amazon Prime, I think.
Again, it's on either Prime or Hulu. I can't remember which. It might even be both.
I'm fairly certain it's Prime.
Okay, so if you have Amazon Prime, you do it right now.
Most of you have Amazon Prime.
Yeah, most people do have it at this point.
Yeah, that free shipping is too good to turn.
I don't have Amazon Prime.
Oh well.
I mooch off my girlfriend.
I'm proved wrong, I guess.
I mooch off crystals.
Oh well.
Be like, hey, I need to use your Amazon Prime. That's how I got the when I pre-ordered that Yuji Kaida book that we talked about last time. I ordered it on her account so I get the free shipping.
Of course. I expect nothing less.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
is there anything else we got to talk about for Colossal?
I mean, the only other thing I wanted to talk about, it doesn't really have to do with personal stuff, but there is one scene where Gloria, as the monster, accidentally kills
Yeah, that's the turning point of the movie.
Accidentally kills a helicopter with people in it.
Well, it's not just the helicopter. It's
and then she falls over or something.
Yeah, she starts have kind of a panic attack. And
yeah,
she's not sure what to do, and she falls.
And I think I don't know what about it, but something that I just find to be really sweet is that she writes "I'm sorry."
Yeah,
this will never happen again in Korean. And I'm like, man, I wish that there were more movies where there was a monster, maybe not being controlled by a person, but that actually feels remorse and puts in effort to say I'm sorry, even though it's really hard to.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know Korean, So I wish there was more media like that where it's you have a monster that is actually trying to say I'm sorry. Because I don't know. I mean, there's probably good monsters out there,
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of people compare this movie to Ultra Q, and I see that to some extent. I would kind of have to watch the movie and the series kind of back to back to really get it. But just design wise, the monster Gloria shares a lot of visual similarities with Garamon from Ultra Q or Pigmon from Ultraman, which is they're the same suit. They just reused it for a different character in Ultraman, and the Pigmon in Ultraman has always been a nice monster. He's he's about 6 feet tall, and he just kind of vibes.
Okay.
He's a cute little guy, and all the merchandise he's holding a balloon,
Oh, that's so.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I think the first episode with Pigmon in the original Ultraman, is it the first or the second? I can't remember. It's one of the episodes of the Pigmon. He comes to Japan, like looking for the SSSP to tell him, hey, there's like some monsters coming. You gotta like get ready, guys. I want I got it. You guys gotta like save the world and whatnot.
Okay.
So like there's both visual and personality wise, there's some similarities there.
All right, I get that. I have not watched.
You gotta watch Ultra Q and Ultraman.
Yep, I will.
Will you?
It's on the list.
It's on. How long is this list?
Pretty long.
Okay.
But I'll move it up the list because I actually got to get through all the media that you've actually given me because I got to give it back pretty soon.
There's that. There's the Scott Ian book. There's the Avatar comic.
I'm not going to be able to read that Scott Ian book. I'll just give it back and buy it myself.
Okay.
I don't have time to read through the whole book right now. Sorry.
It's gotta be me and read like all the time.
I can't. I'm too busy playing Resident Evil.
How many times are you gonna play through the damn game?
I beat it twice.
All right.
First time on standard, second on hardcore, now going to the last one, which
Good luck with that.
Village of Shadows. It's gonna be awesome.
Good luck.
Yeah. Last thing I wanted to talk about the movie.
All right.
That I find to be kind of not like an issue, but like kind of a thing that confuses me.
Okay.
If they have action figures of these monsters that they turned into, don't you think someone would have probably put that together?
I had that same thought, but the movie just kind of keeps on going without stopping to let you think about that.
Yeah, it's in no way a deal breaker. I just think it's an interesting thing to think about.
Unless they're like homemade figures.
Maybe, but they did look like store quality.
They did look molded.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Unless they know somebody who's just like real good.
Possibly.
That I guess that's just the one thing that I just wanted to like mention because I looked at it. I'm just like, huh. You think maybe somebody would have been like,
the company
why?
who made those figures were like, wait a second. Why are our characters showing up now?
What if it was
That's
Toho
not right.
and then Toho is like, all right, we're gonna sue the monsters.
Sue the monsters. Man, if we keep talking shit about Toho, they're never gonna want to.
They're never gonna want to partner with us.
Yeah,
we don't get that sweet money.
I mean, I'm friends with Shogo Tomiyama on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, you're friends with everybody on
I'm
Facebook.
friends with a lot of people on Facebook.
I don't know how you still have Facebook. Probably because you're friends with all those people.
I have Facebook for memes mostly.
Oh, okay.
That's really the only reason.
See, everyone, I deleted my Facebook because it's a terrible, terrible website owned by a terrible company.
I mean, that is true, but
also owned by a terrible person.
But I get good memes out of it, so
Yeah, that's true.
That's where I get most of my news from too. That or Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, you can just set up custom news feeds.
I could. I'm lazy.
Okay. I mean, like our audience could just set up custom news feeds and never have to watch our show, but
That's
But then
true.
you would not be entertained.
You wouldn't get all this awesome commentary from these two assholes who kind of sort of know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So like, why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
Just keep listening to us. Unless you're a manipulative, abusive person. Otherwise, never listen to me again.
Yeah. Go set up your own news feed.
Yeah.
Jerk. Okay. I don't know who we're not talking. Okay.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
What cool new kaiju thing have you been checking out? I think I know what you're going to talk about.
I did finally read Ultra Mega. It was good. It was really, really messed up.
Yeah, I told you.
I would be down to read the second issue, which you said you have.
I have the second issue. Not with me.
I can now give it the Brian seal of approval. It's good. Go read it. I'm sure it's probably on Comixology if you don't want to buy a physical thing, which I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, you gotta support comic shops.
Yeah,
comics have been kind of dying for the past couple of years now. You gotta do your part to support.
At
them.
least go during Free Comics Day or weekend or whatever it is.
Well, I think for Free Comic Book Day, they usually have like specific releases that are free. I don't think you can choose.
Oh no, okay. Well, still go.
Yeah.
Plus, they always sell other stuff too.
Yeah.
Get some other physical media.
One of the biggest regrets I've had A couple of years ago, I went to New England Comics in Malden, and they had the SH Monster Arts 1954 Godzilla. I'm like, all right, I want that, but I'm going to wait for my paycheck to come in.
I remember that. You told me about
I went in the next week with my paycheck.
It was gone.
Someone had bought it like 2 days before. I'm like, oh, my heart.
That's why you should
To this day, I
should
have
have put it on a credit card, Dave.
I didn't have a credit card at the time.
Oh well, that's a bad excuse.
I was in high school. So I still have not gotten that figure to this day. I've kind of gotten out of the Monster Arts figures, honestly, but whatever.
Oh well.
Anything more to add about Ultra Mecha?
The art was real good. If you like body horror, it's great. Yeah, just go read it because it's actually really cool. Yeah, it actually reminded me a lot of like I mean, obviously like Ultraman, but in terms of like the kaiju stuff, a lot of it reminded me of like the Pacific Rim anime. Like the
okay.
I don't know why, but like the monsters kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Like I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know if you see that or not. Not I mean, like not like in terms of like color, but like just how they look to me. I don't know.
Kinda. I mean, it just they do a little more different stuff in the second issue, so I'd have to reread the first to really be sure.
No, I'm talking like the end dude at the end of the comic who like does terrible stuff and kills a lot of people.
Okay, no, I can see that then. Yeah,
he reminds yeah, that guy. He gave me like Pacific Rim vibes.
Okay, I can see that.
He was also creepy as hell.
I mean,
the whole thing was really
creepy.
Yeah, the whole thing was really creepy. It's a lot more horror than it is like kaiju fighting stuff.
Yeah, the second issue is more action oriented, but I don't know what they're going to do with issue 3, which I think comes out maybe this week or maybe next week. I don't know.
Well, I will read the second issue when you give it to me.
When I give it to you,
because I don't really buy stuff.
No. That's all me. Even though I have, no income at the moment.
You're jobless?
Yeah, I've been working here at MMTV.
You heard it here first, folks.
I'm a poor.
The host, David Scrivani, is unemployed.
I'm unemployed. Give me money.
Start a Patreon.
I'll put my Venmo in the description of this podcast.
Start a Patreon.
Oh, we joked about that. Remember?
I don't think anyone's going to donate to it. We don't have anything that we can.
No, the whole thing was that if our Patreon is going to have a single tier, it's $50, and if you pay $50, you'll get to see that sketch of our new art, and that's it. That's the only thing.
No one can see my reaction to when he said $50.
No, I'm good. It was good.
My eyes just opened and like popped out of my head. Like, $50.
$50. If you want, you can pay $50.
A big 50. Jeez,
we have good ideas here, Brian.
Good ideas only. Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
We did miss one thing from today's episode.
We did.
We didn't have a Jordan Vogt Roberts.
Oh my God!
Do you have any news about him?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Well, here's the shout out. You're still cool.
You're still cool, Jordan.
Still cool. Come on the podcast, please.
Yeah.
Talk about King Kong.
Talk about Kong. Talk about Gundam.
Talk about the Metal Gear movie that's never coming out.
Even though that's not really Toku related.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I got big robots.
Yeah, they're big mechs. I guess that works.
You can also just rail on Konami if you want. Probably can't. But
you can do that for me and Howard Miller's video game show, Doritos Connections and Mountain Dew. Feel free to do that.
So stay in Melrose for like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's it. That's the end of that's the end of the shout out right there.
Yeah, there we go. We got that out of the way.
Got it. We haven't missed a week yet.
But not yet. Even though this one was like really kind of shoehorned and forced, but yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. Who cares? All right. I didn't really check out any cool new kaiju thing the last 2 weeks.
Well, Resident Evil.
We
got Big Woman.
We talked about that already, though.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, actually, hold on, because I talked about the Kingdom Kong graphic novel last time. In that same comic book trip to the comic book store, I also picked up IDW's new Godzilla comic, Godzilla Monsters and Protectors. It's very different from IDW's previous Godzilla output. It's very clearly meant for it's kind of like an all ages kind of thing. So it's not as fan servicey as some of the other ones have been, but it's really cute actually. The art styles I don't love the art style. Well, I really like the art style, but I don't really like how Godzilla looks in the art style. He looks kind of lumpy, which I guess he is. Which I guess Godzilla is kind of lumpy, but like he looks a little too lumpy in the art style. But other than that, it's really cute. It's about these. So far, it's only the first issue, but it opens with this kid, and he's doing a vlog, and he's like,
oh, he's a vlogger.
He's a vlogger.
Oh no.
Yeah, and he's the first, at least the first arc of the comic is him talking about how he helped save the world from Godzilla.
How did he do that exactly?
Well, it's only been the first issue, so I'm not sure yet.
Oh, okay.
It only talks about why Godzilla showed up.
I mean, vloggers saving anything is pretty out of the realm of possibility.
I mean, he's a storytime YouTuber, exaggerating everything.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Story time.
Uber driver tried to kidnap me. He didn't unlock the door just yet. Calm down.
Yeah.
But no, it's really cute, and one of my favorite artists. I'm going to look him up because I'm going to forget his name. I want to give him a shout out because he's a really, really good artist.
We do shout outs here.
We do shout outs. And, if you're cool enough, we'll give you more shout outs.
Yeah. If you watch Colossal 10 times, we'll give you a shout out.
10 times, which I don't think I've even seen Colossal 10 times.
Well, I guess you're not getting a shout out, Dave.
Oh, no. Whatever will I do? Christian Gonzalez. He is a great artist, and he... for the third issue of Monsters and Protectors, he was able to do his first ever official piece of Godzilla. Here, look at this. Look how nice this looks. Look at that.
That does look real nice.
It's really good.
I don't see what you mean by him looking lumpy.
Well, that's not he's not the interior artist. He's just the cover artist for that one cover.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, my mistake.
So go check out Monsters and Protectors. It's really cute so far. It's got enough. It's friendly enough for the kids, but also it's neat enough for people of our age.
Okay.
To enjoy.
I mean, I still watch my childhood cartoons.
Yeah.
So Justice League Unlimited.
Well, Brian, is there anything else you want to add, Brian?
No, that's it.
So is that it for the show for the week?
TLDR, watch Colossal.
Watch Colossal.
It's great, and support small filmmakers.
Yeah.
Or indie films. Small films.
One more small tidbit. I remember talking to my friend about the movie, and the director, Nacho Vigalando, my friend said he talks about Godzilla too often. So every time he talks about Nacho Vigalando, his phone will autocorrect Vigalando to Megalon.
Oh my god!
So yeah, there's your final tidbit for this show this week.
Well, I think that's a good place to end.
I think that's a very good place to end. I am your host, David Scrivani.
I'm your co-host, Brian Kershaw.
And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.